Hello, everyone. My name is Jesse, and thank you for joining us for a Speedy Beginner's demo of Mambo Merge. In this month, in office hours, Cynthia will be showcasing some of the new features that have just been released within the latest release that is currently available to download in the AppExchange. Today is Thursday, February 22nd, and we thank you for joining, and we thank you, Cynthia, for doing this. Take it away.
So today we're going to be focusing on PDFs, how to create a PDF in Mambo Merge. So we're in my org. I am going to go to my opportunity, and I have this opportunity here. I already have a routine set up, and it shoots out an invoice for me, and we'll watch that. Oh, jumped ahead of myself. So that is an error that's happening because I have it set up for PDF, but I want to show you this routine without the PDF setup. So going back in time, this invoice just gives me docx. So I do my button and I get a Word doc. This is great, but it does make it very easy for somebody to alter this document. They could just pull it up in Word and we can start changing things. And sometimes you want that to happen, sometimes you don't. I don't want somebody to come in here and say, I didn't like this price. Why don't we change it to this one? So PDF adds a little bit of extra to your documents and makes it a little bit more professional. So if we go back into my studio here, so drop down on the component itself, I select Studio, and I go to my sales routine. That's the one that I have on this page. So on the first page, we're not changing anything, but just to remind you guys what this page is saying, my primary Salesforce object is the object or the particular record that I'm going to be doing Mambo Merge on. I have it set to opportunity because we're doing an invoice on my opportunity. Also, we have our merge field notation. This just lets me change the formatting of my merge fields in my documents, depending on if maybe I'm using some other program that uses similar merge fields. I can easily change it here, or maybe I just prefer how one merge field looks to another. But we're not changing this, so we're going to leave it to the default of the double curly brackets. And I'm still just going to be doing a single record, so I'll leave that there. On the next page is the relationship page. In full speed, you can go ahead and let Mambo Merge know exactly what you're looking for in related objects, because Mambo Merge by default reads the record that you're on, looks over the items, and grabs that details for you. If you need it to get it from a child-related object or a parent-related object, it can do that here. And there's two options for that. It's lookup field. So this is one-to-one for this example, opportunity to account. And then the other one is a related list. And you can see this here, for example, is one-to-many. So I can have many contact roles from my opportunity. So that would be what I'm doing here. I'm not going to change any of this, add anything extra. So we'll go ahead and move along. And then here is the merge data. So this is your template builder put inside of your routine wizard so that in the process of creating your routine or editing your routine, you could go in here, make your original template, or maybe you need to tweak your template to get something that maybe was missing before and you're like, I need that. I need the close date or I need the amount put in correctly. So you would grab that, highlight it, copy, and then paste it into your document. And then you could also see how those different values are filling out, or if there is no value for that record. So we're not going to be updating the template right now, so we'll go ahead and on to the next page. And so here's the page where we're going to be changing stuff. So as you saw, I had to come in and turn off this convert to PDF. It's just right here. I click it, and then I can also choose show preview. We'll go ahead and do that. Otherwise, if I just click the button, it'll download like I'm doing with a regular doc generation and save it as it needs to be saved. I don't get a preview. But with PDF, we do have the option to preview it before we decide, yes, this is perfect, it's good, save it. A quick reminder of what is happening on this page is we can either choose to upload at time of the template merge. So it'll show Mambo merge in its default format where we can click a button or we can drag and drop our template. Not what we're doing today. Or we can upload a template. So if I had another template I wanted to add in here, I could just click this. It'll let me select a template from my computer. Or I could select add template, and this will let me select a template that might already be in Salesforce. In case maybe I didn't add it to the routine here, I could go ahead and select this and choose it. But I don't want to change anything. I don't want to add anything. I'm still good with my label being invoice. That was the name on my button. I still want it to attach to the record. And then I do want this name to stay the same. And I don't have to change this to tell it to do the PDF because clicking this button is what changed this. So if I unclick it, you can see it goes back to docx. So I don't have to worry about telling it anything extra here. It already knows and does it for me. So like I said, convert to PDF, show preview. Next, backup dancers. These are also available in our full speed edition. These are just little guys that are going to help us do actions after we've generated our documents. We can have up to 4 different types of backup dancers. I'm not going to add one, but I want you guys to see it just in case. We have update your record, save task, send email, and launch screen flow. These are great. Like I said, they're included with our full speed edition. If you download Mambo Merge today, you get a 30-day trial with that. And so you can test out these and see if any of these are helpful for your process. One thing to note is for the send email, you do need to have your document save into the Salesforce org because what it is doing is sending email through your Salesforce and then taking that document and attaching it as a attachment. And so it needs to be in your Salesforce org for Salesforce to complete that process. But we're not going to be adding any right now. We're just going to go ahead and hit next. And we're on the last page. We're not changing anything here either because all we were doing was changing that to a PDF. So I want to keep my routine ID. I always remind everybody that you want this to be a simple name, and then you want to use description to tell you what you're going to be doing. So now that I'm changing this so that it does a PDF invoice for me, I can know in the future, hey, this is set up for PDF, not for a docx. So when I'm doing any edits, I can find the right one that I'm looking for. And we'll go ahead and leave this as a button, but just a reminder, you have all these other options. We have checkbox, drop down, radio, and thumbnail. These are all convenient. One thing to note though is radio and checkbox look similar, but with checkbox, there's a great little fun thing about it. You can have more than one template on any routine, but with the checkbox, it allows you to choose more than one template so that you can merge 2 to 3, however many you need at the same time. So you don't have to go back, click the button, go back, click the button. If you got to be doing several templates on one page, checkbox is going to be your friend. I'm going to set it back to button because we only got one template today. And we'll go ahead and save. And we'll close that. And so we've set this routine for PDF. This should work, correct? And it is going to not work. We get this error. What is this error saying? Why did it not work? Well, there's a few more steps we want to do. We want to give Mambo Merge and your Salesforce org access to the Mambo Merge API that's actually converting your document into the PDF. So we can do that 2 ways. The first way is with the remote access. That's what the error was talking about. So to do that, we'll go up to our gear icon here, and we'll select Setup. Takes us to our Setup page. And then on the left-hand side, we could go and try to find what we need here, but I always like to use quick find. And so I'm going to type in remote site setting, and site settings there. I didn't even have to write everything, which is great. And we're on this page here. You can see I already have one set up, but I need to make a new one. So new remote site, that's what we want. And I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to name it remote Mambo Merge PDF converter so that in the future, when I'm looking at things, I know what's happening. I'm not just wondering what things are and maybe I don't need it, I'll delete it. But if I name it correctly, so that I can understand what it is later on, it'll be super helpful not to delete things. So here we are, API mambomerge.com. That's the link that I want to use. And I named it Mambo Merge PDF Converter so that if I go back to just the site, I'm not going to get confused looking at it, even though I can see the URL in case we forget. So then we go back and we're back on the page. And I did make changes to my Salesforce org. So just for, you know, quality control, we'll go ahead and refresh the page. It never hurts to refresh a page after you make a change in your org. And we'll go ahead and hit invoice. And we should get prompted with a preview of our PDF, and then we will be able to save our PDF in our org. So here we are, we're in the preview. I can look it over. Yes, yes, yes. Everything is looking and filling out as I would like it to. Perfect. So I can close it. No, I can't close it. I have to hit Save to Salesforce. If I close this window without hitting the Save to Salesforce, this document is not created. We're in the middle of creating it. We had to approve it. We want to hit Save. Now it's been created. I could click here on this link and it would let me download it immediately, but we'll go ahead and look at it inside of Salesforce. So here it is again. Looks just like the preview. I can download it again from here if I want to open it up. And yes, it's going to open it up in the browser again, but now it's not in Salesforce. So that's how we did that. Now, I said there was two ways we could do this. So this is going to let you make a PDF with the default stuff, nothing special. But if you need to use special fonts, stuff like that, you'll want to use name credentials, and that'll let you have, if you have a special font that you purchase and it's not a default font, when I run through my template, it's going to choose a default over my custom font. So you need to have a personalized server. We'll set that up with you. You'll just have to let us know what your font is that you need, and then you would set up your name credential. Now, how do I do that? Well, we'll go ahead. We'll go back to the gear icon, back to setup. So we start from the beginning. And we're going to type in named credentials. And so looks a little bit confusing. Not sure what's happening, right? Well, first, we don't want to start with named credentials. We want to go to external credentials first. We'll hit new. And we always label as simple as you can. So Mambo Merge, Mambo Merge. It's going to help you later on just to be able to connect everything that you're naming to what it is so that you know if I delete this, it's going to do something for Mambo Merge. I need this for that package. So there we are. We're on this one. And then we'll go ahead and we'll wait on this guy. I'm jumping ahead of myself. We want to go back to the name credentials now that we've made this. So we got label, Mambo Merge, name, Mambo Merge, authentication protocol. We didn't need no authentication. So now we're going to name credentials again. And we're going to go back to the names credential as opposed to the external credentials. That's what we created just now. And I hit new. And we have more information that we can fill out. So following our same system of naming things as simple as we can and similar. And you can name these as much as you like. If it's much more clear to say Mambo Merge PDF or Mambo Merge name credential, or, you know, as long as you put something in there to help you remember what is linked to what, that's going to be your best bet. So I have Mambo Merge and Mambo Merge. And now I already have a server URL to use so that if I had any special fonts, this would be my link. You would contact support or sales, and we would be able to help you set up this server and give you the appropriate link as long as you provide the fonts that you need. And then enable callouts, perfect. And then I'm going to select Mambo Merge that I made for my external credentials. And then I don't need to generate an authorization header. but I do need to set up my allowed namespace for callouts, and that's going to be Mambo. This is key. So then I hit save, and we're good to go. Not quite. So if I was to go back and try to do this again, I will get an error message, and it'll be a new error message. It'll say, I don't have access to the credentials. Why is that? My user doesn't have it, my profile. So I need to make sure I add that in. So then I'm going to go back to name credentials, external credentials, and I'm going to go to Mambo merge. And then now I will do this principles. So I'm going to name this Mambo credentials. And we'll hit save. So now this lets me apply this credentials to a user. So if I go back and I go to profiles, and I'm currently a system admin in this org, so I'm going to go and find my system admin. So let's do S for system, and here we are. And I'm on my profile for my system admin, and it's going to be one of these guys up here. We're looking for enable external credential principal access. Perfect. So I'll hit edit here, and boom, there it is, that Mambo credentials that I need. So I'll add that. I'll hit save. Perfect, it's saved. Go ahead and close that for me. Close all of these little extra guys, and we're back on this page. Again, practice to refresh every time you make a change. It helps. Sometimes it gives your system a moment just to catch up. And we'll hit invoice. And now I should see that preview once again where I can save my PDF. There it is. Again, not a new record, so it looks the same. So we know this is perfect, and we'll hit save. It's been saved, and I could click this to download locally on my computer if I wanted to. But that is how you set up your Mambo merge to do PDFs. So you need to do these things. Now, if you remember when we were looking at the routine, there was another part in there that I did not talk about, but it showed up. Let's go ahead and pull that back up. So we'll go to our sales routine again, and not changing anything. Nope, nothing for the relationship. I don't need to update my template, but I am on this template page, and you see this guy right here, advanced PDF options. So this is not available for full speed edition. This is available for our upcoming edition that we're expanding on, and it is currently named Prima Edition. And what this does is it's going to allow users to put a watermark or have a password protection for their PDFs, just already leveling up your PDF to a much more professional experience. So we can add a watermark, and you can see it gives you the example of you could name this draft, and I'm going to name this draft because I want to provide a PDF of my invoice, but maybe this is not the one that I need them to sign yet. So I'm going to put draft. Now I can customize this. I can make it red so that they know. They see that red and it stops them. Don't sign. I can change the angle. I can say how I want it to fit onto the page. We'll stick to it to page, give it that default, and I can change the font. So let's try Tahoma. And I could do that. Now, there's also an option for tiled, but if I choose tiled, I lose the customization and it just kind of goes default. So if I want it to be customizable, I need it to be one example on the page, or I could choose tile and use a default of these settings. It all depends on what's going to be more readable for your document with the watermark. But just keep that in mind. We'll go ahead. Yeah, let's try it with tile and see how that looks. So now that I've changed this to have a watermark because I'm thinking of it as being a draft, I'm going to label this draft invoice so that I know when I click this, this is going to have that draft watermark on it. Now I can add another template here, and I will put my final invoice, and I'll go ahead and pull up that simple invoice that I have here. And just to make sure that I've selected the right one, I can also preview it here. And yeah, this is the one that I wanted to use. So that's good. And then I'm going to also copy this and put it here. And then so that I know this one is a draft, I will also put draft in front of my invoice here. So then I know the difference. And these both will be dynamic and match what they need for me. And then we will convert this to a PDF. And I can go ahead and do show preview again. I'll do watermark, and I'll put this as final. And we'll put it as maybe not red, we'll put it as green, like a slight off green. That'll be perfect. And fit to page, and we'll go back to that Tahoma, and we will hit next. And no updates to that. Saving this, save, and we'll close. Mambo Merge reloaded for me, but if I wanted to, I could refresh again just for double security. And let's try that draft invoice. There we go. We have that one. I'm not going to save it. I'm going to close it, and then we'll show the final invoice. Perfect. Now, there was one other option, just quickly to run through it. It's going to be that password one. So I scroll back down to this final advance. We'll go ahead and add password. And whatever I type in as a password will be attached to that. So nobody can just open this document. They have to have the password to it. So I'm labeling this password 123. Don't share my password with everybody. But we'll go ahead and save. You can see my computer wants to save that password. We'll do the final invoice again. Now that we have a password attached to it. And we need a password just to preview it. That's beautiful. Nobody can just create this document. So 123, open it up my document for me. Perfect. I can save that. So these are not available currently for full speed. They're a pilot option. They're going to be in our new upcoming edition. You can find more information on that on our website soon, and then also keep an eye out in your inboxes for any updates through our emails. I'll give it back to Jesse if there's any further questions.
Thank you for that, Cynthia, and definitely a lot of good stuff coming up here on that new edition you just talked about. So yes, this is the time we'll go ahead and open up the floor for some questions. So feel free to ask any questions, so raise a hand or however you feel like sharing with us. What do you call it, for the remainder of the session? Okay, we do have a question here from, I believe, Sai, if I'm saying it correctly. Go ahead.
Yes, Jesse. Hi, Jesse. Hi,
Hi.
Cynthia.
Hello.
Hi, hello. Thank you for all the information. This is really helpful. So I recently started using Mambo Merge Trial Edition for a project. So I have a couple of questions. Do we have time to share the screen and show it to you guys?
We don't have time, but we can make time for you after the call if that works for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Um,
Thank you.
if you email support at Mambo Merge, I'll
Mm-hmm.
send you a link for another call, and we can share your screen.
Okay, definitely. Thank you. Thank you so much then. I'll leave it to the other people to ask questions. Thanks, Cynthia.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Jesse. Yeah.
Of course. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any more questions from anybody else? Okay, I did have a question myself as you were kind of running through that. Is there a way to set up different watermarks for different documents that you generate? Would you be able to do that within the same setup like that, or is there like a different configuration you would have to do to go ahead and do that?
So As it usually is with our backup dancers, they are set up to the template itself. So in the routine, each template can have its own setup of how the watermark will look. So as I customize watermark for this one, it'll be attached to only this one. So when I click the button on a single document of anywhere, they will all be fitted with this graph. And same with this one. I can customize this one. It'll have a different watermark, even though they're both in the same template. So yes, you can customize the watermark between the two templates or however many templates you have.
Okay. Thank you for that and sharing that information there, Cynthia.
No worries.
Any additional questions before we wrap up the call here? Okay, we do have a form submission option there. So if you don't want to ask your questions now, you feel we want to ask them anytime later, go ahead and paste that link here now on the chat there for us. And you can schedule demos or special sessions there directly with our team here. Feel free to use that link or reach out to us, as Cynthia mentioned, through support@mambomerch.com. So we do want to thank everybody for joining. And if you do have questions, as I mentioned, 10 minutes after the call, feel free to reach out to us or send them directly to that link. Our next office hours webinar is scheduled for sometime in around the same time next month. So either email us or follow us on social media to add you to the list. We thank you, Cynthia, for joining us. For running us through this and answering questions. And we do thank folks for asking questions. And we have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks, everybody.